Hey traders out there, it's the AK Option Trader. I know I've been gone a long time. I apologize for that. I'm going to try to keep doing some videos every once in a while as I find time, but this market's been so wacky. I've been having to trade so much and get things going on. But I believe our last video we left off talking about support and resistance, very basic support and resistance and trend lines. So now we're going to go up to the next step of trend lines. Now, I showed you in the last video an uptrend and a downtrend line. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is range bound. When stocks are range bound, or when they're trading within a certain range. To be trading within a range, that means there's buying at one end and there's selling at the other end for a continued amount of time, and that time could be days, months, it could be hours, minutes, weeks, whatever time frame you want. And the way this works is it uses both the up and the downtrend line kind of in conjunction, not necessarily in conjunction, but similarly. Alright, so we know the downtrend lines you always do on the tops of the candles. The uptrend lines you always do on the bottom. So you're saying, why in the heck do you have a downtrend line on the bottom here, AK Option Trader? That makes no sense. That goes against everything you've been telling us. Well, the reason for it is I'm going to try to show you some range trading, what range trading is. I show a lot of these on my blog because I think they work pretty well if you can identify them early. Alright? So this is a very loose range traded stock right here. Okay, I would say very loose. Basically, what happens is when this trend line gets hit in this area, people start selling on this downtrend line. Okay, so people start selling. That's how we get our trend lines, right? We already know that. Well, it seems to follow a pattern, and we can even move this a little bit, and I'll show you which one I'm using here in a minute. It seems to follow a pattern that when it gets near this level here, people start buying. And you can see it's not perfect, and that's why I say it's loose. Some of them are a lot better than others. This is Amazon, if I haven't said that. People start buying. This is what we call a range-bound stock. These are even better if they're going straight instead of up or down, if they're just flat, going straight side to side. And I think I've got some on here. We'll take a look at it here in a minute. All right, now on profit charts, what I use for this is right down here. It's the one you can't see it, but it's called channel. Tell you what, we'll cheat a little bit. I'm going to move this up. Move this up a little bit, and there it goes right here. You see this one? It's called channel right here. You can use that, or you can just use your trend lines. Okay, I use the one called channel sometimes use trend lines, and I'll show you why in another video, because the formations aren't perfect. Now the other thing I do with these channels is if you right click, you can extend them, show the 50, show the medium. I like to throw the 50 in there because if you look at these ranges, you'll see midsection usually offers some kind of support and resistance. I mean, look at this. I didn't have it on here, and you can see there's pretty decent support and resistance in that area, so something to watch for. So the way you use these, let's look at a couple more and then I'll explain them to you. Let's slide down here. Okay, here's a nice one. A sideways one, okay? These are my favorite. Now the trick is to identify them early. Okay, so we've got a top. We got a nice bottom. I mean, it's pretty clear cut right here. You got a good bottom. Goes back up, starts selling them, go, oh, this is range bound because we topped up here. You got a double top. You got one top here, a second top here, and it doesn't seem to want to break out. We had one close above it right here, but boy, it just followed the next day with an inside candle. It traded inside the previous day. Good time to do some puts or do some selling this short. So you watch this here. Okay, we get a breakdown now here. We broke out of it, but man, we rallied right back into it. Look at this. We hit that area again. Alright, so this would be a good time to go short. What if you went short here? What if you bought some puts right in here? Okay, especially off this candle. You go, oh, it looks like a good day to buy puts. Would you think you'd be happy this day? Yeah, I think you'd be pretty darn happy. Alright, now we'll show some more. This one I don't have the 50 in there. You can see there's not a lot going on there. You can set that up to be in there all the time, but you can see the 50 offers a little bit of support there. So I like to leave it in sometimes to see. Here's another one. This is a ascending one. You can see them both right here. Here's one ascending, and you can see how volatile this Amazon is moving up. Nothing ever moves up in a straight line. Nothing ever moves up in a straight line, no matter what time period you're looking at. You know, it moves up, goes sideways, continues up, hits this area, boom, back down, has a day up here, comes back down, hits this area, moves up, hits the 50, comes back, makes another run at the top, hits the 50 on the way down, makes another run at the bottom. So this is pretty good. I mean, if you're playing off the 50s, you could even play off the 50s, a range inside of a range, basically, right in here. So you can see this moving up. You can see this trend line gets touched 1, 2, 3, 4 areas, 5 areas before it finally gives way. So the things about these is eventually they're going to give away. And two, you don't want to put them at the very tops, and you don't want to put them at the very bottoms, because, or if you're going to trade them, you don't want to trade them to the very bottoms or the very tops. There's a good place to trade them on a reversal, and those candles we studied. It's the whole reason you study the candles, is to find areas to trade off of those candles. So a good candle to look for on the bottom here would be a good doji, or a, look at this, bullish engulfing. This would be classic. This would be beautiful. Here we are, darn close to the bottom. Like I said, it doesn't have to hit. It has to be in the area. A little hammer hanging man type candle on the bottom, and then all of a sudden you got a bullish engulfing. That'd be a good signal to buy that day. Boom. What happens? You gap up. Here we go again. Here's a bullish engulfing at the top on here. That'd be a good signal to sell. Anyway, so that's how we use those, and the ranges can be made, like I said, with trend lines or with these channels. So here's another ascending one. And you can see how many times you can play this if you identify it early. Obviously, you're not going to be able to identify it on the first move. It's going to take at least one down and one up. Then you start looking for it. Oh, okay, maybe I'll be looking here. Oh, up here. Real nice long-lated inverted hanging man, I would call it. Near the top here would be a good signal. And then just kind of going along this trend line. Boom, breaking back up. Can't move up too far. And I imagine if I looked at these percentage-wise, which I haven't done, they'd be pretty similar percentage-wise moves up and down. Another thing you can do with these is count the days from here to here. And usually they're going to be pretty close, however long it took to get from here down to here, and then however long it took from get to here before it started selling again. Those days are things you can play as well and trade. Here's another one here. A lot bigger volume, a lot bigger set. That's a descending one. Okay, so what I want to do on this Amazon is we're going to go ahead and let's see if I have any more out here already marked off. No, I got some other ones because I trade this, but let's put this on a weekly chart. Exact same thing. Now you can see them all here on the weekly chart. You can see how often it gets in these ranges. So you can make them on a weekly chart to see, and even you could do it, you know, like from here to here. Okay, here's up here, here's a top here, and a top here. So if I just draw a trend line here to here, one could say, well, this thing looks like it's getting in a range up in here. Maybe I'll play that here. And then look for a bottom down here where it stops right in here. So I'm doing this with just straight trend lines, just to do one so I can do it on the screen. So, okay, well, looks like we find some support here, moved up here, sold down, okay. I think we're in a range. Oh, it failed right here, which should be close to the 50. Broke down. Then you got a tweezer bottom right here. Well, we're going to play this up. Hits up here, going to play it down. Finally, it broke out of that range. So it's no longer valid, okay. And they can be long term. Even if you go to monthly, yearly, whatever, you're going to find it. Here's a monthly one. You can kind of see them in the monthly too. Basically, one candle equals a month here. So you can play these long term up or down. Okay, we're going to look at MCD real quick because I found a couple on there too. They're all over the place. So here's MCD. Let's go back to the daily on the 20. You can see I have them marked out all over here on MCD. I went through and looked at them all so it wouldn't save us time. So here's one with a descending trend line, a down trend line, and a flat bottom, what we would call a pennant or a wedge, and we're going to talk about those later. But same type of thing. You're finding support here. You're finding resistance up in this area here. Here's a nice square one down here. Look at this. Boom, boom. Same type of thing. Zoom out a little bit. And then going over here, ascending one. Same type of thing here. So you can find them all over the place, and if you extend them out a lot of times, you're going to see that they come back into play. They'll break out. Here's a top. Here's a bottom. Top. Look at it. Broke out. And we could start another one down here if we wanted. Say, whoa. But look at this. We're finding some support down here in this area. So basically, that's how they are, and that's how you use them and play them, is you just play them as support and resistance areas, both at the same time. So that's all it is. If you hear me talk about range-bound trading, that's what I'm looking for. Those are all tradable events that you can look for on lots of charts. So next video will be coming up. I'm going to try to do it sooner than later. Look at this beauty. I promise. So this will be the AK Option Trader signing off. Trade well and prosper.